Speaking first, in opposition of the motion, we have Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian Gorka is a British-born Hungarian-American military and intelligence analyst. He served as Deputy Assistant to President Donald Trump between January and August 2017 and was recently appointed to the Pentagon's National Security Education Board. During his time in the Trump administration, Gorka gave a series of combative interviews with the press in which he defended the administration's position on national security and foreign policy. He was a Fox News contributor from 2017 to 2019 and currently broadcasts the Salem Radio show America First with Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian, thank you for dipping out of your radio show to give this speech, and the floor is yours.
That's very kind. Thank you so much. It's a real honor to address the Union this evening. So the motion before the House concerns America and America's supremacy. And I will be arguing against it, that it is not on the cusp of being lost. And my message will be one that may surprise you, but it depends upon a specific definition of supremacy. And let me start with a story. I am the child of refugees. My parents escaped a dictatorship, made it through minefields, literally, to freedom, to the West, where I was born in the UK, raised in the UK. And then as the child of refugees, I chose to become an American. I came to this amazing country 12 years ago. I worked in the Defense Department as a professor and then ended up in the White House as a naturalized citizen. Why? Because this is the greatest nation on God's earth. It is the greatest nation in our civilization. And yes, some civilizations are better than others. Ask anyone who has lived in Somalia. Ask anyone who has lived in a communist China. There is a difference, and it is a function of facts. I choose to be an American because of its supreme values as a nation. But let me explain why. Imagine a young boy of 14 years of age who has seen his country devastated by war. He has seen people taken away, people he grew up with, Jews from the ghetto who he went to school with, put on cattle carts and taken to death camps. He's seen 3 out of 5 of every building in the beautiful historic capital of his nation bombed or shelled. And at the end of the war, he's seen every bridge across the beautiful Danube River blown up by the Nazis as they were surrounded by Allied forces. That young boy hears on the grapevine, he hears the reports in the news that it's okay. The war is over. And peace has broken out. And his country, along with others, will be allowed to find their own self-determination, and that democracy will be vouchsafed for all of them. At a great meeting of the big names in Yalta, Churchill sat down with Stalin and promised to the people of that benighted nation that there would be a chance for them to get out from under the yoke of the Nazi oppression and to choose their own future and their own governments. So he had hope. He had hope. But then what happened? After 3 years, there was a replacement of the communists, of the fascists, with communist dictatorship. As that man entered college at the age of 18, he decided to resist. Not with a gun, not with a bomb, but with a covert activity as a member of a secret Christian students organization that would spy on the Soviet occupying forces and send information out to the Free West. He did so for several months. They established connections to MI6 in the UK. But the bad news was that at the end of that reporting chain was a certain Kim Philby, a member of the Cambridge Apostles, the greatest traitors to the Western world. And Kim ran that group of young patriots until he could identify every single one of them, and then betrayed them to the KGB in Moscow, who told the Hungarian secret police, who arrested that young man at the age of 20, tortured him, and incarcerated him with a life sentence. Why do I tell you this story? What has it got to do with American supremacy? I tell you that story because it's personal. That 20-year-old man was my father, and he put everything on the line for the same principles on which the American Republic was founded, the nation with the oldest written constitution in the world that is predicated on individual liberty and representative government, a nation of colonists who stood up to the greatest empire in the world, the British Empire, because of the usurpation of their rights by King George, and fought for their freedom and achieved that freedom. That's why my father did what he did in the name of democracy and representative government and paid the price. 2 years in solitary, 2 years down a prison coal mine, and then another 2 years in the main political prison on the outskirts of Budapest. Until one day, a group of students allied with factory workers from Chapel Island in Budapest said enough is enough. No more communist dictatorship. And thus was ignited the glorious Hungarian Revolution, where my father, in a political prison, was eventually liberated by a handful of brave freedom fighters who had captured the Soviet tank and used it to bash in the main gate, kill the secret police guards, and liberate those patriots. My father then escaped with the 17-year-old daughter of a fellow prisoner, literally underneath a railway carriage to the Austrian border, crossed a minefield to freedom. During the revolution, the Hungarians prayed fervently that Eisenhower, why Eisenhower? That Eisenhower would send the 82nd Airborne to help the freedom fighters who were so akin to the founding fathers who fought for the liberation of this land where I sit today. Why America? We didn't want to be helped by Germany or Vanuatu. America, because of America's supreme values. And that is why today I am a free man, born in a free country, who lives and works as an American in America, and who serves for the President of the United States, Donald John Trump. That is my definition of supremacy, and it is a glorious supremacy. There is a reason why blind anti-abortion human rights lawyers risk their life in China, climb onto the roof of their building to escape house arrest as the Chinese secret police are parked outside, walk to the capital of China. And then what embassy's door do they knock on? Do they knock on the embassy door of Trinidad and Tobago? Do they knock on the embassy door of Switzerland? No, they knock on the embassy door of the United States because of what that nation represents. Why is it that just 70 miles away from the shores of this nation, the residents of Cuba risk life and limb in building rickety rafts out of oil cans and plastic bottles to literally traverse shark-infested waters with their children to come to America? People don't risk life and limb. People don't swim through shark-infested waters because they want to go to Belgium, but because they want to come to America, because they want to become Americans. With the election of Donald Trump by 63 million Americans, America is back. We are no longer ashamed of who we are. We are proud. Unlike Obama, who the first thing he did when he became president was to go on a global apology tour, we are proud of our Judeo-Christian heritage. We are proud of the values we stand for. And they are embodied most specifically in the most important speech the president has given in his first term, a speech I was happy to be involved in its framing, and that was the Warsaw speech. The Polish government wanted the president to give that speech in some wonderful building downtown, some diplomatic piece of architecture, and we said, no. The president's coming to Poland. We want him to give this speech at the site of that magnificent statue that represents the fighters from the Warsaw Uprising coming out of the sewers to fight their Nazi occupiers. And after much negotiation, they agreed. And in that speech, the president says, we are who we are because of our values as a Judeo-Christian nation. We will stand shoulder to shoulder with any nation that shares those values, be it Poland, be it Israel, be it the UK. And the only question is, do we have the courage to stand up to those who would destroy those values, be they jihadists, be they Russia, be they the Iranian mullahs, or be they the communists of China? This president does, and I'm proud to be American, and that is our definition of supremacy. And as long as Donald Trump is president, it's in good hands. Thank you.